Hey everyone, it's time once again for the Rockman X DiVE weekly update. We got a couple of other updates after the dive section too, so stay tuned. Well, it's finally happened everybody. It's the 1-year anniversary for Rockman X DiVE, and who better to celebrate it than RiCO herself, who is now becoming a playable hunter program in the game. Too bad for Rockman X DiVE and Over 1 being the anniversary character. But they also haven't gotten to Star Force yet, so yeah. Anyway, here's the lowdown on the deep blog admin herself. As we all know, RiCO's character is essentially very clumsy and dumb, thank you player son, and her character select animation portrays that quite well. Nothing much to say really other than hey, it's cute. Let's talk skills then. The first one is data recreation. Being the deep blog admin, it would make sense for RiCO to be able to use skills from other characters since she's pretty much the one in charge of all of their data. That comes into play with data recreation, as with the skill, RiCO can summon these screens on the field. Each of them will continuously fire one of these skills from other characters. Iris's Peaceful Wish, Awaken Zero's Genmu Zero, and Ultimate Armor X's Plasma Charge Shot. And with this move, RiCO can set him and forget him and play as normally as these attacks are going off on their own. Interesting, but if you're looking for something more original for RiCO, how about the second one, data analysis? Quite simply, she summons a giant shield that deals damage upon contact, and it should stay up for a few seconds. We also have one of the passive skills, which allows RiCO to randomly remove one buff from hitting a target with her weapon attack, and removes one debuff for herself. Gameplay wise, I'm not sure how I feel about RiCO just yet. It's okay, it's kinda there, but I'm sure people will get some use out of her. And hey, she's playable at last. Next comes the introduction for this week's event, VS Deep Blog Training, which is happening from March 18th to March 31st. 2 weeks. Seems the story of this event is we're essentially welcoming RiCO as a hunter, going through different stage segments and collecting different items in the capsules. But then the trailer goes on and drops all these story teasers, like what is Via implying? And who is the mysterious character, or mysterious character, you know, with an I, that is peeking in the darkness? Well, for one, the text is in Chinese so I can't read it, and two, we don't get to see what this character is. So that's a mystery we'll have to solve another time. But I am going to assume that starting from this first anniversary and on, future story segments are going to get a lot more interesting. But we finally get the reveal of Via as the bad guy of the story? Actually, kind of yes. The Capcom Asia trailer tried to be sly about it, barely including his boss character info screen right before they cut away from it. But the Japanese branch doesn't care, and they just outright show us the boss fight with Via himself. And what can I say other than he plays exactly like Zero would. He's got the RiCO Genmu Zero, the rings from Awaken Zero, and the double buster shot before the wave slash that Zero had in X2. We might be getting a pretty cool original boss music along with this too, so stay tuned. But yeah, speaking of Via, for deep blog's sakes man, half of the story chapters have been like, hey Via, are you gonna do the thing yet? The thing? I have no idea what you're talking about. Get on with it already. And that's how I feel about the story right now, so hopefully it ramps up a bit after this, and maybe this event is just a taste of things to come. But hey, if you're not able to pull RiCO during the banner, we do got a free character for ya this anniversary. It's Rising Fire X? Wow, they're really capitalizing on that model kit that came out recently. Now where's Fourth Armor X? But get this guys, this is not a skin. No, this is a full-on A-rank character X. His two skills are literally Rising Fire and a Flame Charge Shot. A Japanese trailer shows us his animation, which is exactly like the B-rank X, except with a fire effect over the Buster Shot. But listen guys, we gotta really let us sink in what this really means, because before, we've always talked about the special weapon color palettes being easy skins for X in classic Mega Man, but seeing Rising Fire X as his own character, oh my goodness, They're really going all out with it. So get ready for a billion different X and classic Mega Man alts, I guess. That's one way to keep the game going after you run out of ideas. And imagine if they go on to make Rising Fire Ultimate Armor X, Rising Fire 4th Armor X, and all of that. Dude, there's a lot they could do just to pad out the game. The barrel of monkeys have truly been opened. But anyway, Rising Fire X looking pretty lit, fam. And I like that you can get them during the event as well. Now for you whales out there, I got one more thing for you. If you place in the top rankings of the leaderboard during the upcoming event, you'll get this pink RiCO skin, which makes her look a bit more like Nana from Command Mission, or maybe one of the navigators from Maverick Hunter X. Yeah, it's cute, but it is just cosmetic, so not a big deal. That's it for this week's Rockman X DiVE update, so let's continue on with the video game news. Capcom has just released a new trailer for the Capcom Retro Station, that mini console that we covered a while back. For those not in the know, we have 5 Mega Man titles: Mega Man The Power Battle, Mega Man 2 The Power Fighters, Mega Man X, Mega Man Soccer, and Rockman and Forte. Yes, the Super Nintendo Japanese version. It's going to be untranslated as well. And then you have 5 Street Fighter titles, but who cares about Street Fighter, right? Anyway, this is just a 2-minute trailer going over the whole system, showing you all the ports, what it does, the different controllers you can connect to it for multiplayer, and of course we get to see some of the Mega Man games being played on the system. Like this guy mashing pretty hard while he's playing Rockman and Forte. Okay, clearly that's edited because no way you're mashing that fast. One standout feature that they briefly showed is it looks like you'll be able to listen to the soundtracks from each of the games in the collection. Neat! Furthermore, just like Sega's Astro City mini console, the Capcom Retro Station has an adjustable screen that you can play the game on, or you can output via HDMI to a television so you can play on the big screen. As long as you don't mind playing Mega Man games with an arcade stick setup, I guess. Towards the end of the trailer, we get a sneak peek at the interface for the console, which displays the box art for each of the games, and when you go to select one, the box art is replaced with official character art, like Mega Man X showing X, and Rockman and Forte having, well, Rockman and Forte. Looks like they're splitting up the interfaces for each of the style of games as well, sort of like the Mega Man 0 ZX Legacy Collection, where you'll have your Mega Man menu and then your Street Fighter menu. The Capcom Retro Station is launching on March 31st for, you might want to sit down for this one, 21,780 yen, which is roughly $210 US. Yeesh! I mean, it's pretty cool that with the Retro Station, this is the first time Capcom has re-released the 2 arcade games, Mega Man Soccer and Rockman and Forte, in a very long time. The arcade games were on the Mega Man Anniversary Collection forever ago. I don't think Mega Man Soccer was ever officially re-released, and Rockman and Forte got their spotlight on the Wii U, albeit those of us in the West just got the inferior GBA version. And then Mega Man X is just the oddball here because it's already a part of a collection you can easily purchase. But as cool as these extra games are, is it really worth $210 for like 4 games that are actually unique to this, at least as part of the Mega Man collection? Well, honestly, no, unless you're a big collector and you're into this kind of stuff. I do hope that one day we might see these other games show up on maybe a 3rd Legacy collection, or at least some way where you don't have to pay $200 just to play them. Because even they gotta realize this is outside the scope of a lot of people's budgets. But there is, you can pre-order the Capcom Retro Station on Amazon Japan right now. Like I said, March 31st for $210 US, give or take. Or if you want to wait, there is a global release plan for this coming. Guess we'll see how popular this system is when it launches. Also, irony, this is coming out around Battle Network's 20th anniversary, but it's just another classic and X thing. I'm not holding my breath for any EXE news aside for some fun things from the Japan side of things, but we'll see, I suppose. But that's okay, guys. The development team at Mega Man Battle Network Chrono X has got you covered with that EXE news. Just a couple of days ago, they released a new update for the game. detailing their upcoming version 5.1 for the demo. First of all, they went back and rewrote the entire netcode system for the PvP, and they're currently in the testing phase for it right now. Along the way, they've added major gameplay elements as well, like the ice panels and the freezing from BN6. Pertaining to PvP itself though, we add the time freeze counter back from the later entries in the Battle Network series, which for those not in the know, that means that now when your opponent activates a screen dimming chip, like a Navi chip, or a trap or something, you can cut in with your own screen dimming chip. At which point, you will be moved forward in the priority and your chip will get off before your opponent's does. Now, is this update ready to ship yet? Well, no, as one of the big things that the devs cover in this update is scope creep. At first, it was just going to be bug fixes, but as they kept on going and going, they ended up adding a bunch of things and revamping a ton of things as well. So even though we're going from 5.0 to 5.1, you're going to see a ton of changes in this upcoming update. Here's some of the highlights. The most eye-pleasing one is going to be all of the redone internet maps. Take Central Area 2 here for example. That obviously is Side-Beast themed with the Gregar poster and the cracked panels. As in the lore of Chrono X, Central Area is advertising the whole Side-Beast incident that happened in Battle Network 6 in order to attract tourists and get some funds. Another thing you're going to see in the screenshot is some new icons. Those of you who have played Mega Man Star Force will be very familiar with these. These are icons for sub-chips, in this case Untrap and Sneak Run, so now you'll always know when they're active. Next up is the addition of the config menu. Before, you had to adjust your options for the games in a separate window, but now it is all organically implemented into the game. So now you never have to leave it to adjust your options like the window size, VSync, audio, controls, and so on. Very nice quality of life update there. Going back to gameplay, it's been mentioned before in the past, but pretty much every chip in this update is getting a buff. As the post itself says, if you can name a chip, odds are it got buffed. So we do see a big power increase for Mega Man. On the flip side, that means they can buff some other things about the game as well, like, say the enemies and the bosses. Speaking of bosses, it's been revealed that the SP Navi bosses will be coming to the upcoming update, such as Raven SP here. This is in order to give players something to do after they're done with the demo's main content. The SP bosses will have new moves and you'll be able to earn SP level mega chips too. Killer336 goes on to say, that's not even close to what their next release will bring. The changelog will be massive. We went back and altered many aspects, like shortening the amp area, enhancing Ghostman's dungeon, adding new chips to find, and more quality of life changes. If I started listing everything out, you'd just get lost in it. And honestly, we're probably going to add a bit more content in some form or another, so be prepared for that. Yep, there's a lot happening here. We're almost at the end here, so here's an update on the Android version for Chrono X. Now you'll be able to transfer your save files from the PC version to Android seamlessly. Now you won't have to start from the beginning when you play on a different device. However, the devs can only focus on one version at a time, so while they haven't forgotten about the Android users, PC version will still be the priority. So any updates that come to PC is going to come to mobile at a later date. The Android version will also have some exclusive features in its config menu, like haptic feedback, power saving, and so on. That's all the highlights we have. We just got one last tease for you. This screenshot showing off the Chrono Satellite 1 area. Ooh, the title name drop. We also have an icon there for the Fish Navi Customizer program. Oh yes, Fish, my favorite one. That's all folks. In case you were worried, the devs are always hard at work on Chrono X, even despite the current pandemic that's going on, and many other things going on in real life. They're always working on something, like building out content for later parts in the story, and of course Demo 5.1. They really want Demo 5.1 to be their greatest work, aside from the full game itself. So there's a lot to look forward to here, and I can't wait to check out myself when it launches. Before we go, here's something that you ought to check out if you are at all interested in the backstory behind Mega Man 8 and X4's voice acting. My good buddy ColeFam and Reploid Revo recently got to interview Ruth Marie Jarman, who was the voice actor for Mega Man in Mega Man 8 and X and X4. There's some really cool highlights in here that we've never heard about before, such as the infamous screaming scene in Mega Man 8 and how that came about, the fact that Mega Man 8 and X4 were recorded in the exact same session, and Ruth was not told at all that this was for two different games. Ruth actually believes that what they did is altered her voice slightly to make her sound a bit older for X4. And then there's the infamous, "You must recover all the energy immediately, what, Mega Man?" A lot of us thought that he was trying to say Wily, but actually, as Ruth explains, she remembers that they were told in the studio that it's Rockman or Mega Man. So while the actors are trying to figure out which one to say, and they clearly did different takes saying Rockman or Mega Man, it may very well be that Dr. Light's flub during that scene was him trying to say Rock and then correcting himself to Mega Man. As for Bass versus Bass, they were also not told how to pronounce Bass's name because it wasn't said on the script and nobody corrected her at any point. There's a lot more interesting stuff like that, so I highly recommend you check out the interview for yourself in the description below. But honestly, hearing all of this pretty much confirms what I've always believed about Mega Man 8 and X4. This was during a time in video gaming where, honestly, they didn't take voice acting very seriously. And that means even if you hired the best voice actor in the world, the quality of voice direction simply was not there, and without good voice direction, you can't have good voice acting. This was clearly a product of its time, with Capcom cheapening out on the voice acting just to ship the game out, and as a result, nobody really knew what they were doing. But that's pretty much the story of the voice acting, and again, lots more like that in the description below. Check it out. That'll do it for today's Mega Man News Roundup, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and for more on Mega Man, and of course my upcoming Blaster Master 03 analysis, it's all recorded now, I just have to edit it. Expect it to be more than 34 minutes long. Yep, it's a big one, I had a lot to talk about. Stay tuned for that one too. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for the Rockman X DiVE livestream. Until then, rock on, and have a great day.